Okay guys, time travel to its simplest form. This is a copper pipe. You drop a magnet, which is right here, and the magnet was going to fall half the speed of the gravity. So an average rock is going to, let's say this is a mile long, and average rock will take 10 seconds to fall. It's just an example. So if it takes 10 seconds to fall to the ground, inside the copper, the magnet with the attraction to the copper as it falls, it falls half the speed. So if this is 10 seconds, this will be 5 seconds to fall. So whatever the speed is, it's going to be cut by half. So this is the way it works. So, but as it's falling, it creates a magnetic fields with attraction. So attraction of a magnetic fields to the copper, in my opinion, that's what creates a time bubble. In this case, it doesn't really affect it because it's so minute you can't tell the difference. But this bubble right here is basically magnetic waves. You can't see it. I mean, that's what slows it down. But inside here is a bubble. Same thing happens in black hole. The black hole is a event horizon. Anything around it is a gravitational field, and any spacecraft in the gravitational field slows down. Now, the time itself slows down. The closer you are to the event horizon or the black hole itself, the slower it gets. So in this case, three equations work for the black hole. Basically, the closer you get, it's more intense. So more intensity, gravitational field, the more time slows. Also, the length you're inside the gravitational field also is the more length is the more time passes. So and 3 is how close to the event horizon. It's actually also because of the intensity, you travel slower in time. So the way it works is very simple. Anybody trapped in this gravitational field, or as I call it, the time bubble, time slows down. So let's say, for example, you spent 1 day here, it might equal here a month or so. Just an example, it's not an exact number. So if you trap here and you're able to escape to a normal time and space, our time, if you're stuck in there for a day, it might be a month into the future. Let's say you're stuck there for 30 days, it might be, who knows, but a year or centuries into the future. So because you're inside that time bubble where everything slows down. Same concept over here. If a person is able to be inside this magnetic field for a time, it might actually time actually slow down inside. But once he gets out, time has already elapsed. But that's only depending how strong this magnetic field is that's able to create a time bubble. So, but in this case, it won't really show and test because it's probably not that strong of magnetic field that create a time bubble. What creates a time bubble is the attraction. Black holes attract matter, and that attraction is what creates a time bubble. Same with magnets with magnets, or magnets with metal, magnets with copper. Anything attracts it, attracts the positive to the negative, or magnet to the copper, or whatever. That attraction creates a time bubble. But it's so minute you can't tell the difference. In other words, if you're in that bubble, it's going to slow it, but not drastically. You probably need something more powerful, very much powerful. It's a magnetic attraction to the extreme. You probably need a positive and negative to create a time bubble, because both will have an attraction to each other. Either magnets create this time bubble, and anybody coming in, time will slow down. When they come out, might be 100 years into the future. The perfect movie you can watch to to see how this whole thing works is watch a Time Trap. Time Trap is an exact perfect movie of how this scenario may actually work. Remember, we have the Earth north and south polarity. If you're able to capture the magnetic fields of both, let's say with copper wire buried into the ground massively, and then at the end of that copper wire, let's say, for example, right here, this is the Earth, this is the north, this is the south, then, sorry about that, but then you bury this cable, copper cable, right? And same with the South Antarctica. You bury this copper cable, bare cable, not protected at all, right? And then right here, you insulate it. Right here, you insulate it. This cable onto the ocean and gets insulated. And somewhere, doesn't matter where, you have right here, you have these cables, north and south, but you keep them apart. The more distance you keep them apart, or either basically the closer you get them or the far apart you get them, that's how you control the intensity of the attraction. And by controlling the how apart they are, that's how you control how strong the intensity, and that way you could control how far you want to go into the future. But because anything in this bubble slows down, so anybody can be there and spend some time, and when they come out, they'll be in the future. Pretty much is just the intensity, the intensity, and the same thing works on that is how long you're in that time bubble and how intense you're in that time bubble. Basically, the closeness will be, in this case, is how close you get these two cables together to create that intensity. The closer you get these two cables, they'll have the polarity of the Earth, the north and south. Then the person can actually, time will slow down here, and when they go out, it might be days, months, or years, or centuries into the future. The concept's the same. Also, we don't know, according to the movie Time Trap, which I just, actually do agree that's a possibility. Remember, we have north and south polarity, and somewhere in the middle might be where sometimes the magnetic fields switch. And who knows if there's a cave or a place where there's actual magnetic fields are close enough to create a time bubble. But that's going to be really hard to swallow, because you're asking for something to create by itself. But in this case, you could actually build it yourself by creating a time bubble, depending how close you are to these cables. It's just an it's more precise if somebody's able to actually build it. In this case, you're asking for accidental bubble to be built by itself, which is far-fetched. But but anyway, the movie Time Trap is actually, it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's not, but it could be done by itself. In other words, but that's it.